You know, what you don't know about me is that I've been teaching online for a long, long time. I taught my very first online course in, oh gosh, 30 years ago. I was one of the early adapters in terms of teaching online. My first online course was horrible. It was, it was painful. It was painful for me and it was painful for the students in the class. And the reason is I did what so many faculty do. I took my in-class way of doing things and I just like put it in the learning management system, the platform. That is the worst thing you can do because online learning requires a totally different approach pedagogically. It requires, as the faculty member, that you approach things differently. You have to set the table for students. I mean, there's just so many things you have to do differently. And many people just assume, oh, it's just the same thing. You know, I'm just going to do what I do in the classroom online. That's it never works. So the experience was so awful that I thought, you know, I want to learn how to do this because I think there's something to this. This was, you know, I could see, wow, this is going to serve the needs of so many people that don't have access to education, adults who are working or you name it. And so I dug in. One of my top strengths on the Clifton Strengths is learner. And so I'm always trying to figure out, you know, something doesn't work, so how can we do it better? So I became a student of online learning and learned everything that I could learn. I then brought up online learning, the infrastructure at a previous institution where I worked in Chicago. And then when I became the provost at Bay Path, I did it again. So we were really early in at both of those institutions. And so I bring that expertise and also just a natural affinity now. I love online learning because I think it levels the playing field for students. You cannot hide in a good online course, whereas if you are in an in-person course, it's so easy to sit in the back, right, and lean against the blackboard. But you can't do that if the online course is well designed. And so I find that I get more out of students. The learning is richer and deeper, and I get to know my students much, much better online than I do in an on-ground course.
You said something that I've never thought about before. Like this was literally one of those moments where my brain just exploded. Because it's contrary to what one would assume. In a properly designed online curriculum, you can't hide in the back of the class. But on site, we all know those kids, last row, back seat, corner seat. He's not paying attention, but he's there.
Yeah.
I think you just like shattered one of the biggest myths of in-person being better than online with the fact that just because you're there, you may not be there. You may be
Yeah.
physically present, but you may be emotionally absent. Whereas with a properly designed online course, there is no hiding.